What country do you think would have the dish with the greatest number of ingredients in any dish so far? Hint, it will be a feta strength. Welcome back to Cliffieland! This is week in country number 66 on our second attempt of cooking food of every country in the world, and tonight we're up to the nation of Greece. Greece is located in the eastern Mediterranean Sea. It shares land borders with Albania, the Republic of Macedonia, not to be confused with the state of Macedonia, which is part of Greece, but that's a whole other discussion, Bulgaria, and Turkey. It has ancient civilizations, an ancient cuisine, and so many dishes it would be nearly impossible to pick just a couple to do. But somehow we managed. So this week, we've decided to do 3 dishes. We are making Moussaka, which is like a layered casserole dish using eggplant and lamb. Spanakopita, which is a filled pastry with spinach and feta. And lastly, a traditional Greek salad. But this is the time we have to see how things went when we tried this before. 4 years ago on the Global Cooking Challenge, I was equally stumped on how I was going to cover such a great, massive cuisine in 1 week. To do that, I wound up cooking over 3 separate nights, something I can't do now with a video. For the first night, I did the moussaka, which was absolutely phenomenal. The only complaint I had with it was that it was a little bit on the sweet side, so this time we're going with a different recipe. We'll see how that goes. We did the Greek salad, which is really good. The second night, we made the spanakopita to go with the moussaka leftovers. It was really delicious. I loved it. It was super buttery, and I was finding myself for the first time challenged by pastry. And the third night we made 2 dishes, a very complicated meatballs dish, which was pretty good, except it was not as good as it was complicated, and a kind of fail when I tried to do what's supposed to be a tart. I still have baking problems. But as for tonight's dishes, we have to see what goes into them. Brace yourself, this is gonna be a long one. First, for the moussaka, we'll need a 1/4 cup of dried currants, 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 1 pound of ground lamb, 1 teaspoon of cayenne, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/4 teaspoon of ground allspice, 1 28-ounce can of whole peeled tomatoes undrained, 6 cloves of garlic finely chopped, 2 medium yellow onions finely chopped, 1 red bell pepper stemmed, cored, and finely chopped, 1 cup of red wine, 1½ cups of canola oil, 1½ pounds of eggplant cut crosswise into 1/4 inch thick slices, 1 pound of russet potatoes cut crosswise into 1/4 inch thick slices, 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 1/2 cup of flour, 2 1/4 cups of milk, 1 bay leaf, freshly grated nutmeg to taste, 1/2 cup of plain Greek yogurt, 3 egg yolks, 1 cup of grated parmesan, and kosher salt and black pepper to taste. Then, for our spanakopita, we'll need olive oil, 5 green onions, sliced thinly, 1 pound of frozen chopped spinach, 1 egg, 8 ounces of crumbled feta cheese, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, pepper to taste, 1 package of phyllo dough, and melted butter for brushing, about 8 tablespoons or 1 stick. And finally, for the Greek salad, we'll need 4 to 5 large tomatoes, cored and cut into uneven chunks, 1 cucumber, peeled, halved, and cut into 1/4 inch slices, 1 green bell pepper, cored and cut into rings, 1 large red onion, cut into slices, and for garnish, oregano, extra virgin olive oil, 1/4 pound of feta cheese, sliced or crumbled, optionally pepper, about a dozen Greek Kalamata olives, 1 tablespoon of water, also for garnish, pickled pepperoncini hot peppers. Got all that? I tell ya, that moussaka means starting the prep sometime around midday for a 7-8 o'clock dinner. Forewarned. Now that I've said that, we have to see how this whole epic thing went. Let's get cooking. Puree the tomatoes in a blender and set aside. Put the currants in a bowl with boiling water. Set aside for 30 minutes. Meanwhile, heat 1 tablespoon of olive oil in a 6-quart pot over medium-high heat. Add the ground lamb, cayenne, cinnamon, ginger, allspice, salt, and pepper. Cook stirring to break up the meat until brown, about 5 minutes. Transfer the lamb to a large strainer set over a bowl and drain. Discard any liquid left in the pot. Return the pot to the heat and add the remaining olive oil, garlic, onions, and bell pepper, and cook, stirring occasionally until soft, about 10 minutes. Add the wine, and cook, stirring occasionally until almost evaporated, about 10 to 15 minutes. Add the reserved tomatoes, drain and add the currants. Add the reserved lamb, and bring to a boil. Reduce the heat to medium-low, and simmer until thickened, about 30 minutes. Meanwhile, heat the canola oil in a 12-inch skillet over medium-high heat. Working in batches, add the eggplant slices. Fry, turning occasionally until tender, about 5 minutes. Transfer the eggplant slices to paper towels. Working in batches, do the same thing with the potato slices. Then work on the bechamel sauce. Melt the butter in a 2-quart saucepan over medium heat. Add the flour and cook, whisking constantly until pale and smooth, about 2 minutes. Whisking constantly, add the milk in a steady stream. Add the bay leaf and cook, whisking often until reduced to 2 cups, about 15 minutes. Season with salt, pepper, and nutmeg, and discard the bay leaf. Let the sauce cool for 5 minutes. Then, in a small bowl, whisk together the yogurt and egg yolks, and whisk into the bechamel sauce until smooth. I missed that part and added it later. Then assemble the moussaka. Heat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and in an oval 3-quart baking dish or 2 1.5-quart baking dishes, place a layer of the reserved potato slices. Season that with salt and pepper. Put the eggplant slices on top, season with salt and pepper, and then cover with the meat sauce. Pour the bechamel over the top and spread evenly with a rubber spatula. Sprinkle the Parmesan evenly over the top and bake until browned and bubbly, about 45 to 50 minutes. In a skillet or saucepan, heat the olive oil over medium heat. Sauté the green onions until softened. Add the chopped spinach and cook until all the moisture evaporates and the pan is dry. Then season with pepper and nutmeg. Remove from heat and let cool to lukewarm. Mix in 1 beaten egg and toss in the feta cheese. Mash it into the spinach until it is broken up. Then cut the defrosted phyllo dough into strips measuring 4 inches by 12 inches. Brush a strip with melted butter, add another strip, brush that with butter, add a 3rd strip, brush that with butter, and mound a heaping spoonful of the filling onto the upper right corner. Fold the dough over to make a triangle, and continue folding over itself until a packet is formed. Brush with butter and pack onto a cookie sheet and keep covered. Bake in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes or until golden. Into a large bowl, place the tomatoes. Season with salt. Season the cucumbers with salt and add them to the bowl. Season the peppers with salt and add them to the bowl. Season the onions with salt and add them to the bowl. Sprinkle with oregano. Pour olive oil over the salad and toss. Just before serving, place the feta on top of the salad. Toss in some olives. Mix a little bit of oil with the water and drizzle that over the top. Serve garnished with hot peppers. Serve all dishes family style. Hercules strong! Now you're probably wondering how that all went. Well, first we have to start with the Greek salad. It was really delicious, really basic, nothing really spectacular, so I'm gonna give that salad 4 out of 5 globes. Really nice, but you know, nothing really to write home about. Personally, I would have used some more olives. Next, the Spanakopita. That was really delicious, just as good as it was last time. I did have some different problems though. This time I used the frozen spinach as opposed to the fresh spinach. Either way, that wound up taking a whole lot longer to fry dry in the pan than I thought it would, which is kind of why I didn't make it to the final plating. Also, my pastry skills are still garbage because I don't quite know how to lay out and butter and fold these things just properly. I wind up with a really, really buttery dish, which is tasty but kind of too buttery. So I'm gonna give the Spanakopita 4 out of 5 globes. Seriously, if I learned how to do this all properly, it would definitely be a 5 because we're racing for those leftovers right now. And lastly, that moussaka. Holy cow, that was such a massive effort. just as complicated as it was last time. Still, it was really delicious. It was a different recipe than I used last time. So last time it was a little bit too sweet. This time it really kind of wasn't sweet enough. And I didn't feel there was really the depth of flavor, which might have been involved with maybe the recipe and definitely the vessel I cooked it in being probably too big and too thick. So things didn't really cook the right way they should have inside. Still, it was really a delicious dish. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna give the moussaka 4 out of 5 globes. And at this point you're wondering, will this ever end? Now is the time. Thank you, Greece. You're great as always. Hercules, Hercules. And remember to tune in next week when we head back to the Caribbean to have the food of Grenada. See ya then. And remember, if you'd like to see our streams live when they happen every Tuesday night, be sure to follow us on Periscope or Facebook Live. Like and subscribe if you'd like to be advised when these videos are posted. If you have any thoughtful feelings or helpful suggestions about the food I'm cooking, please feel free to sound off in the comments. Remember, links to the original recipes can be found in the About section. And if you like what you see, share it. It would be nice. Till next time, thanks for watching and happy eating!